Is your favorite good again? It's the question we all ask when these refines hit. We're going to talk about damage analysis and builds and where to use these guys. All of that is coming, but first up, we need to talk about legendary Veronica.
This is already over.
Veronica got her remix and refine, and we've got Speed Res Far Resound, which is a fairly new skill, and it's kind of exciting to see them putting those on these types of units. But the text on these gets smaller and smaller, and I'm probably redoing this. I have listened to all of you guys' suggestions on what I should be doing here. Just know that that is coming. Let's just jump right into the actual skills though, and I'm going to kind of give you the quick version of this. In Closing Dark, the big thing you're going to be doing is damage. The support of Preempt Pulse, Resonant Blades, and a visible attack speed +6 is good, so that is nice. The biggest thing is you're going to get Desperation and you're going to do a lot of damage. In a lot of cases, you're also going to have the sweep effect depending on how many foes are around the opposing unit. As far as the remix goes for Enclosure 2, the big thing you want to take away from this is Special Piercing, Potent 100, which is a big deal. With that Desperation, that means you're going to be hitting 3 times for 100% of its initial value. The other thing is Start of Turn effects, Speed Res -7, and inflicts Feud and Sabotage. Feud is very, very big right now because Rhea is such a huge part of the meta, and that miracle effect that she gives as a drive is really important to how a lot of teams work. When you're looking at building this unit, one of the things I want to bring up with this budget build is you can keep this unit mostly as base kit. I'm pleasantly surprised with how they've constructed this unit. Speed Res Far Resound is excellent on just how this unit works. There is a little bit of overlap. It's not a perfect B skill. We'll talk about that in just a second, but it does do the job quite nicely. Now, we've got to talk. I usually with budget build, I only allow 1 premium skill, and I do have Slice with Sparrow and Inside Attack Speed. If you're choosing there, it's Slice with Sparrow all the way. That 5 true damage on each of your 3 hits if you're getting Desperation, that's a big, big deal. This max invest build is where we're going to live for just a second, and it is important to note that when you have units that are hitting over and over and over again, Aria is really not what you're looking for, and you're going to want to go with Slice with Sparrow. The reason is Aria only procs on a special. So if you have a unit, for instance, that has only piercing on a special proc, that's a big deal where that's really going to be where most of your damage is going to hit, and you want that true damage on that one hit. If you have a unit like this that has just piercing in general, you can get more hits and more true damage. So keep that in mind as we go, because we have a couple different places where you could go back and forth on that. Attack Speed and Sight Hone is just the way to go. Speed Res Shackle is excellent. If you are using this unit in Aether Raids, it means that your cleansers are going to pick off the 2 shackle skills as opposed to the feud skill that you're going to throw on them. That is a big, big deal unless you're going up against Freyr, and that's just it. But that brings us to the biggest point, and that's where you're going to want to be using this. And I've got to say, Arena is her spot. This is an excellent build for Arena. In the other modes, she can be used, and I've seen some crazy things pulled off in Aether Raid's offense is a fairly easy place. Aether Raid's defense, probably not. Summoner Duels, if you really work around her, you can get her moving. But just understand that this is an Arena unit through and through, and they are doubling down on this. You're going to see a lot of that in this build round. We don't have a whole lot of generalists. These units are designed for one specific thing, and they are designed to do it well. That's not a bad thing. Just keep that in mind. It is harder and harder to be a generalist, just, in general. But back to this. Max Invest build. So this is, of course, if you have this unit at +10 already and you're going to be using this as a score bot, I think this does a lot of good. And this is what we're going to analyze as we go into the damage analysis. So flat DR of 0. This unit wants to get all 3 hits off. Hardy Bearing will destroy this unit, and that means this is not a Black Knight counter. True damage of 63 though is very decent. Like that's quite nice, and this unit is going to hit pretty hard. You're not quite up to cam levels, but you're approaching that. That's, again, this is very respectable. Boosted damage of 32 is just okay, and you like both of those to be high, but we can't have everything. And this is a refine on an older unit. Of course, there in the notes, Desperation and Potent 100 is really what you want to focus on. This unit can do some damage though. So let's talk about my preference and why is it the budget build. So here's the thing. If you're looking at what this unit can do, the way I look at suggestions is I take the budget and I take the max invest and I look at how much more you get out of the max invest versus the budget. I think the budget it's about 15 true damage short of what you've got with the max invest build. True damage right now is the greatest indicator of how well you're going to do in your player phase matchups. It just is. That is not to say it is the only thing. There are other factors, but it is the biggest driver. Still, 15 is significant, but for the range that this unit is in, I think you're going to get most of your bang for your buck out of this build. You don't have to do much. You just really have to get Slice with Sparrow. But if this unit is your favorite, 15 true damage can go a long way in helping you, stay relevant and keep you using this unit as much as possible. If you're just using this unit as a bonus unit, however, like I am because I don't have this unit merged up, I think this is going to be the way you should be going.
May this bring peace.
Askr is up next, and I think this is an example of a unit where they tried to do too much. Veronica is very focused. Veronica is a nuke, period. This unit, however, is trying to be both a frontliner and a support, and we have seen this done, but it takes some absolutely bonkers effects right now, especially melee frontliners, because we have Cam out there, but we have a lot of other stuff. We just got Fear, who does an insane amount of true damage, and this unit is going to have a hard time holding up against stuff like that, especially with the amount of flat DR. We'll go over that more in just a second. I want to quickly touch on the refine here. So first up, we have Illuminating Horn. So we have an easier way to transform. This is good. In combat effects, you get an Omni plus 11 guard, null penalties, and 50% piercing. And then if you initiate ores within 3 spaces of an ally, you get guaranteed follow-up, true damage, flat DR. This is good. And then for allies around you, you get attack defense res plus 5, null penalties, and guard. It's really what folks are complaining about most is that last little column and what you're giving out. Attack defense res plus 5, null penalties, and guard is okay, but specifically in light season, you're already getting null penalties from Peony and Rune. That's tough. Let's look at the remix here. We have Open Domain Plus first up, and 2 allies, you get Attack Defense plus 6, Resonant Blades, Resonant Shields, and Times Pulse 4. This is good. Now, this is only if you are within 3 spaces of an ally from a different title, which can be difficult for Mythics, but as long as you're paying attention, it is not that difficult. In combat, attack defense res plus 5, flat DR, and you get Hardy Bearing, which is really nice if you have the bulk to back it up. The last thing is easier transformations, which is a big deal. You like that, but again, this is efficiency. We have other skills to take care of that. I would have liked to have seen more support from this. And in total, you're getting attack defense plus 6, Resonant Blades, Resonant Shields, Times Pulse, and we also get attack defense res plus 5, null penalties, and guard. These are fairly benign. Like, nothing about this is jumping off the page, and we're in a meta that has started to combine a lot of things. It is not unheard of to have a new bonus that has all of those combined into one. But it's his whole kit that he's supporting. The other thing is, for what this unit does, getting cooldown has become cheaper and cheaper, and this isn't even the best cooldown. You like Preempt Pulse a lot more. This does help you if AoEs ever come back in the meta. This is very, very nice, but as of now, this is okay, and they kind of split the rails between frontliner and support and came up with a unit that is okay. So what do we do with this unit? First up, we have the budget build, and this is if you're trying to make this unit a melee frontliner. You keep attack defense spiked wall, you keep open domain plus, you have sturdy beast, bonus doubler 4. You guys have seen this before. It finishes off with attack defense finish. The max invest gets interesting, and this is basically saying, yes, this unit has frontliner capabilities, but doesn't have enough bulk to really get you there. So we're going to swing things around and see if we can't do more supportive things. And the biggest way you're going to do that is with this attack defense favor skill. And this is brand new, as in not even out as of the time this is recording. It will be on Crom. This gives empathy and piercing and lots of other really fun things like true damage. This is a very good skill, and it's basically the updated ruse from what we used to have. This is all mid-turn too, so with that reposition gate, you can repo someone in and then back out. Or if you want to do swap gate, if you wanted to give up an Ecthenir, you could do that as well. This is nice. So I like this. I think this works very well as a supportive build. If you have this unit at +10 as a mythic, most of the time you don't have a lot of choices. Like as mythics, they know that we're kind of stuck with them. So they give us refines that are okay when it comes to support. This is a way to patch that up, and with attack defense favor, you get a lot more going for this unit, and that together with the other support, I think is something that is very respectable. Before we get past that though, I want to go back to the budget build, and I want to just look at a damage analysis. So what you're getting out of this is an effective defense of 105, and what pops out is a flat DR of 35, and this is what I'm talking about, where if they wanted to make this a melee frontliner, the bare minimum was like in the 60 range for flat DR. 35 is very, very low. True damage of 41 is actually okay, and boosted damage of 59 through Sturdy Beast is not bad at all either. And this unit is going to have easy access to specials just because there's so much cooldown. But you can see what I'm talking about here. As a frontliner, this unit is okay. It's why my build suggestion, and if this is one of your core mythics, I do think this is a great way to go. The plan here would be to keep him in Aether Raids because, again, I think that's where this unit is going to specialize, and have this unit with the attack defense favor and sturdy beast and all of that great stuff. You end up, what you do is you have this unit come in, help position your team, and then set him in such a way that he takes on a hit. And if you are taking care of the primary damage givers, which is generally what you're doing on any sort of player phase thing, this has enough bulk. This unit right here has enough bulk that he can survive whatever other hits coming. So this unit is good at surviving, say, the last dancer or the secondary nuke or anything like that. And while that's happening, you can go run around and get pots. I know that sounds like I'm minimizing, but as a mythic, that is a very valuable role. So, for player phase teams, particularly ones that depend on getting specials off, I think this can be a very valuable member to your team. Just keep that in mind. This is not the best refine, and this is not going to take this unit into the meta where suddenly you're going to be seeing this unit in every mode ever. But he can be a role player on your team, and it all hinges on that attack defense favor skill. So keep an eye on that if this unit is your favorite.
Weaker than expected.
Soren is another unit where they're trying to do more here, and Soren is mostly just a pure support, and they're trying to take him and make him into a combat unit as well. It's an interesting play, but I want to remind you folks that Soren was already being used. As is. The big theme behind this, and we'll get into this, is giving this unit some stopping power as well. I just wish they could have done a remix on Rare Talent. I think that would have really pushed this unit into the meta. As is, if you're using Soren, you're still using Soren, and you're happy with this refine because you do get some good things out of it. Let's talk about Archsage Tome. I mean, a sign decoy is the big thing with this tome in general. That is what you're after with this unit. On top of that, you get exposure and discord. There is a possibility of that getting cleansed, but that is what it is. You get neutralizes penalties, true damage based on res, some stats there, and then you have a very complicated way of saying more stats. Let's talk about rare talent, because this is where things get a little interesting. The biggest thing, you can read this entire thing, but what you want to pay attention to is the Brave effect if you have more than 10 res from your opponent. Who is this good for? Now, this unit was never going to be able to take on your primary tanks, and those are the ones with high res. So this unit is going to be able to take on, say, Baby Camilla comes in and smacks you, and you don't want to waste your biggest nuke, so this unit comes in and takes her out. He can do that with ease, with a Brave effect. It's where this is at. Now, the question is, does this actually move the needle? Did you need this, or did you just need more true damage? When we look at the builds, I went with more true damage. Let's talk about the budget build first. This is if you just want to invest the minimal amount possible. Firm, Canto, Curb Stomp. And for the budget build, I normally have one premium skill. Firm, Canto, Curb Stomp is probably it for this unit. That is very, very good and can really help the way this unit wants to function. A lot of the SD teams with Soren, they lack a little bit of gas. And so when folks come in, it's very easy for them to come in and then, of course, run away. That makes it harder unless they have Sakura, but that's another subject altogether. Still, if I were to pick one skill, and I only had one, it'd be Firm, Canto, Curb Stomp. Let's talk about the max invest build, though, because I think a lot of you Soren builders are very committed. I've seen the things that you do, and I think this is a really fun way to get a lot of use out of this unit. The point here is to, of course, up the damage, and so we're going Ice Wall because you already have a lot of res, attack speed Aria, speed res lull finish, pulse on blades, and attack res finish 3. There are a lot of things being packaged into this, and unfortunately, tempo echo is part of that because of the 50% piercing, and that's important for what this unit wants to do, especially if this unit is only hitting twice. Let's look at the damage analysis. You'll see what I mean. So let's bump this on down. Flat DR 25 is just not moving the needle. It's okay. And again, if you're looking at trying to survive some kind of, it's not going to help you survive much. That's just where it is. True damage of 53 combined with a boosted damage of 65. And this is assuming that you're able to get Ice Wall off, but you should be able to do that just with the pulse on blades. Going to be hitting pretty hard. It makes this unit able to take out secondary tanks. And that's not bad. Giving this unit extra stopping power is a good thing. Now, the question is, was this worth giving up things like Firm, Canto, Curb Stomp, or perhaps Havoc in the B skill? I did look at Havoc. I think you get more out of lull finish, but if you're going for pure supportive build, Firm, Canto, Curb Stomp, and Havoc are very, very nice, and that is a way you can do this. But if you're truly steering into the nuke build, I think you've got to stick with that speed res, lull finish, and pulse on blades. Hitting with Ice Wall is a big, big deal. It not only does it give you the unpierceable DR, but 65 boosted damage is fairly nice. This unit is going to be able to hit. So with that, it's going to be the build that I suggest. Again, if you're using Soren, then you are a very committed individual. And I don't think this is too much here. This is something that I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this build. So I think this is an excellent thing to try out, and tell me how it works if you build it.
I won't accept defeat.
I'm going to level with you. Corrin was the hardest unit to build in this entire group. And there's a couple ways you can do this. I tried very hard to steer into her being a tank. The problem with that right now is nukes are insane. We just last night saw the true damage ceiling get burst open and another Crom come out, but better. So it is tough for tanks. And I think the quality of this refine more reflects the state of the game than the actual quality of this refine. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look though. So Vala Stone, you get adapted damage. Divine Vein Stone, which is nice. It's been said before, I do hate that you have to take an action to get it to work. It limits what you can do with this. But you have Draconic Hex and neutralizes penalties, which is good. And you give both Draconic Hex and neutralizes penalties to your allies. That's nice support. You get inflicts. You get %DR. You get full no follow-up, which is nice, and that'll be a little anti-synergistic with stuff that I show you in just a little bit. And then you get some flat DR, but not enough. And of course you get Scowl, which is nice. The other thing we have to look at is Realms United. I didn't understand this when it came out. Like, this is only 2 years ago. Alright, distant counter, Omni -7, flat DR of 7. And that's it. What do you do with that? I don't know. That's disappointing is what it is. So we're going to get rid of that because there are inheritable DC skills that are better than that right now. The budget build for this is going to be Shield Fighter. And whether you go near save or far save, Shield Fighter patches up a lot of what this unit needs patched up. And that's it right there. There are ways around Shield Fighter right now, especially with all the brave things going around, so understand that. But if you're using this unit and you're not in Arena, this is absolutely the way to go. Now, I have to say on this Max Invest, there was a bit of, I call it a dispute. It was a discussion over whether Counter Fighter or Edged Scales is better. It all depends on whether you think this unit's speed is enough. I assumed that whoever is using this unit is going to really stack up the speed, but understand if you're not going to get there, the special jump that is provided by Counter Fighter is quite good and really helps Dragon Flame a ton. The other thing is Res Scowl Echo. No, that's not a meme. Honestly, you are battling against Preempt Pulse right now, and it is everywhere. And the fact that a unit is going to come in and you have 2 different levels of Scowl to stop that, that's a good thing. If you are max investing, I think you absolutely have to do that. There is a third build that I didn't talk about because I think at this point in the game there are so many better ways to do this. But there's the one that I talked about last year when we talked about this unit with Barricade and basically pure support. You put some supportive B skill on there and just stack res to high heaven. And if you are using this unit as a score bot in Arena, and I know a lot of you are, that is not a bad build to go. If you have more questions on that, ping me. But I think for the vast majority of folks, that is probably not going to be the way to go. But Barricade in Arena is incredibly valuable, so keep that in mind. Let's look at the damage analysis, and I did it on this max invest build. So I want you to notice a couple things. Flat DR of 42 is what I'm talking about with that being, that's the level of Askr, right? That's where we're at. We're in that yellow zone where we really want to be up past 59 and into the green zone to be truly usable. What's interesting is the true damage being 53 and the boosted damage being 67 is actually pretty decent. That's why I didn't mention it, but I have Erica Ring on this unit. This unit can hit back pretty hard. I put the effective stats down here on purpose, and I want you to really pay attention. So I know this looks like a lot, but keep in mind these are effective stats, and units have a ton of different ways to get these right now. If you want just a cheat sheet for a good number, it's 100. That's a way oversimplified, but it works a lot of the times right now. 100 is good. Anything below that is okay. We're in the 88, 86 range, and you're going to see a bunch of these units have more than that. The problem is this unit is even all the way across the board, and what you needed was this unit to specialize stats and to push some of those into attack and speed if this was going to be a speedy unit, or defense and res if this was going to be a bulky unit. Being in the middle like this is hard. So this unit is going to need their speed boosted up, period. And that's why whenever a speed-based save skill comes out, if you're really committed to this unit, you need to pay attention. So what am I suggesting? If this unit is your favorite, go out and get you that max invest build. I just don't know that it truly helps you as much as I want it to. And because of that, I'm really going to suggest the Shield Fighter build if you just really need this unit to work. I think this unit gets a lot of what you want out of this unit. It just the survivability isn't good on either of these builds, and that's a problem.
An obvious ploy.
The most coveted skill in the game right now, no kidding, is pass. If you have pass, then I can do something with you as a unit, because there are a lot of ways you can work around not being inhibited by the insane number of warpers out there right now. It's good. It's really, really good. That's really all I have to say on the summary for this unit. For Deliverer's Brand, you inflict speed res -7 sabotage. Frozen, which Frozen is wildly underestimated for speed-based units right now. It is very, very good and can swing matchups for you in a big way. Past that, you get stats and flat DR, and a lot of this is a full tempo, special piercing. You get a weird, if the special procs and you have Bonfire or Ignis, you get adaptive damage. Adaptive damage isn't that good right now. Most of the tanks right now have very balanced defense and res, and adaptive damage just isn't going to get you there. So you can almost just ignore that. Then you get 11 stats, which is nice, and true damage equal to 20% of this unit's speed, and of course, pass. The big controversy comes here, and this is tip the scales. So you're giving out Rally Spectrum, and then you can warp to the unit with Rally Spectrum if they're within 5 spaces. The problem here is we have Silica Ring. So Silica Ring can take you just as far. And you can put something else in this slot. This is so power crept. So power crept. And if we look at the builds, I'm still using it in the budget build. It's not, maybe it's a little hyperbole. It's still usable, but on the budget build, for my one thing that I picked, if I can only pick one, I'm picking Speed Taker. And the thing is, you are utilizing what this unit already has, and you're using Tip the Scales and can fly in and use Speed Taker to help you take out units. As built here, this unit is going to struggle taking things out. Also, I have on here the Celica Ring that should be the Erica Ring, because you're already utilizing the warping and tip the scale, so you don't want to double up on that. Just know that was a mistake on my part. The thing I want you to focus on, and this is interesting. Now, Medeos begged me to be able to build this unit because he loves Robin. This is his favorite. If you want to see more on all of his commentary, and he has very creative builds, we'll talk about one more in just a second. If you want to see more of his builds, definitely go check out the Summoning Stone. Back to this. This is a little different than I normally build units. And in case you guys haven't noticed, my builds are 100% about getting as much damage out of the unit as possible. this goes a different direction. I think it's good for you guys to see options here. And this is trying to build as much bulk as possible to try to survive whatever chaos is going to happen, and then get as many hits in, or being able to survive to have someone else work around you. It's an interesting way to go, and it has some fun results. But we have to talk about hoodies first. I just put these up in the store, and I love these designs. I think these are so much fun. These are embroidered. They're very high quality. This shop does an excellent job with them. And if you're looking to rep Awakening, you have the wonderful Brand of the Exile hoodie. Go check those out. Let's get back to it though. So I want you to take in that this unit has more flat DR than Askr did. It hurts me a little bit. It just truly does. So more flat DR, less true damage. So we've dumped that for more survivability, and we're going for boosted damage instead. Particularly when you're pairing this with Arch Rival, some fun things can happen, because remember, boosted damage does depend on how well your weapon triangle is working. You definitely have swings that way. For instance, if this unit was going up against a blue unit, you'd have trouble. If this unit was going up against a green unit, it would be a lot of fun. And of course, neutral matchup with the other two. So this is a neat way to build this, but there's another thing I want you to look at, and this is what I was talking about with Corrin and how the stat swing is done here. Everything is pushed towards attack and speed. 119 effective attack is a lot, and it's why you're able to get so much boost out of that Arch Rival. 105 speed is good. That's very good. This unit is meant to go in and crush things, and with the pass effect and with your Celica ring, for any secondary tank, this unit's gonna be able to do it. I will say the Lull Echo is a luxury, but if this is your favorite, I mean, you're doing that and you're not looking back. Like this is a lot of fun to build, and I like this stat line. The stats and the damage and everything. You don't always have to go after true damage. 83 boosted damage is very respectable. The other thing you can do with this is the very memed on reflex build, which of course, any damage this unit takes in, they're gonna reflect back, and this unit has the speed to get the second hit, but also has the flat DR to survive secondary tanks. This unit is not a first tip of the spear initiator, but a very good secondary initiator. So I keep this unit in mind. I like this refine a lot, and just because of pass, he might have won the batch here. When we talk about, which I would suggest, listen, if you're a fan, again, you're looking at how much more do you get out of the orbs you spend. And I think the difference between the budget and the max invest build is significant. If you're wanting to build Robin, this is the way you do it. And I think you'll get a lot out of this unit and honestly have a ton of fun with them. I didn't touch on it, but the main use case for this unit is most likely going to be Aether Raid's offense. And for any of those player phase teams, we get so many actions now that it's kind of a luxury item, right? You just get insane amount of things going on. I mean, even think about Sharena handing out actions like they're candy. This unit can go in and help you smack things, and really the point is the warping. Being able to get in and warp that far is really critical for how this unit can work and makes it easier for a lot of the player phase builds. I think that is the main use case for this unit, and yeah, Aether Raid's offense right now is in a bit of a flux, so we'll see what happens, but I am curious what kind of tanks they have to combat a lot of the crazy things that are going on. But for your offense needs, I think Robin can serve you well.
Once more! I
struggled with Gullveig too, but for a little different reason, and the big one is I wanted to keep gold unwinding, and I had a hard time doing that. It's a B skill that gives you an extra action. that should be a no-brainer, but it is so hard to get kills right now. Let's talk about just what the refine does. You've got Canto and stats and some significant true damage there with 20% of speed, and that includes pre-combat stuff. No follow-up is excellent. And then within 3 rows and 3 columns, your opponents get an Omni -5, Dull All, Panic, and a true damage of +10. That is better support than Askr gave. We're going to move on. So, past that, you get an extra action. You re-enable Canto, which is incredibly important. This is a new thing that they're doing, and it's making the player phase and hit and run type things much easier. But you also get a little bit of flat DR and, of course, more stats there. What do we have with Gold Unwinding? Not much. So, pierceable damage reduction, some debuffs on the enemy, you inflict gravity on you, and you get an extra action and it can't trigger again for 2 turns. And we just talked about the fact that actions right now have never been cheaper. And so this is something that honestly we just have to get rid of in general. So looking at the builds, I kept it on the budget build, and this is if you want to go the traditional AoE route. I have a prediction, and I'm just looking at what they're doing. I think they're about to buff up AoEs in some way. And I don't know if this is going to be an inheritable skill or something else, but keep an eye out for that. 82 attack, and this is, I don't have this unit put into a team. This is another Aether Raid's offense unit. Like, this is where this unit is going to be used most of the time. 82 without all of the support from your team is really quite large. This unit is going to be able to do some damage as an AoE unit. The problem, and we've talked about it, but AoEs have never had less value than they have right now, and it's mostly Sigurd's fault. When they tried to counter Sigurd, they countered every single free-to-play AoE build you can possibly think of, which is just painful. Looking at the max build, I've gone back and forth on whether to do Slice with Sparrow or Attack Speed Aria. One of the things it kind of comes down to is you're only getting Speed Res Shackle from one unit, and if you're inheriting from Sharena, then you're gonna get Attack Speed Aria, and that's what you're going to use. But know that there is a good argument that Slice with Sparrow might be the more optimal of the two. The problem is Attack Speed Aria scales off of your special, and it only has true damage when your special procs. So if you're getting just a ton of hits, Slice with Sparrow can be a lot better. Keep that in mind. It's something I'm weighing in the back of my head. We talk about it a couple different times in this. I kept Aria this time, but know that Slice with Sparrow is there. Speed Res Shackle gives you around 15 true damage. Deadly Miasma, listen, I understand that it's not optimal, but Deadly Miasma still gives you the most damage out of a C skill for a flyer. It's just, I know that's weird, but it's just the case. Whether you're using the fog or not, whether you're using the Dull All effect or not on that, because this unit already gives out Dull All, so that's not going to help you much. Even then, Deadly Miasma is just the way you get the most combat out. Blade Session 3, and then Sly Echo. And this is max invest. You're just pouring everything into this unit. And what pops out? Well, 7 flat DR. And 60 true damage. 60 true damage is nice. You would like a little more. Keep in mind, that is on a special proc. If you have Slice with Sparrow, it's down to 55, but it's 55 each combat. And then if you just had Aria, it would be 50 on the first and 60 on the second, depending on when Magic of Light hits. So you can swap those out, but just so you know what's going on. Magic Light has the Luna effect, so you really don't get boosted damage out of it, but you do get more out of the damage that you have, so that's good. I will say the downside is it doesn't affect flat DR, so that is an issue. But overall, I mean, we just saw these stats on Robin, and we said they're very good, and they are. Attack of 118, speed of 102, defense of 65, res of 57. That is decent and something you can work with. I don't love Magic Light. That is my big hang up with this build. And as soon as we get something that bases off of speed or attack like Ice Wall does, that can be on Tome Flyers, that is the thing you put on this unit, and then she gets a lot better. But we're waiting for that special right now. And I don't like waiting because we all know how IS is good about finishing things they start. So keep that in mind. The reticence is not that this is a bad unit. I think this is a lot of fun, and I think the extra action you get out of this build is very valuable, especially Flyers. If you want to take apart a team with a player phase, strategy, Flyers are so much help because they dodge so much crap. It's really nice. So, good unit. If you're asking me what to build, I'm still, even not liking Magic Light, I still think this is a very nice way to go with this unit. And I think this is a good enough upgrade right now that this is worth it if you're a Gullveig fan. So, yeah, go for the max invest, be happy, do lots of true damage. When it comes to GHBs, we're always asking ourselves, is this Refine better than an arcane weapon? And with this one, unfortunately, we're asking, is this Refine better than the latest Inheritable and the latest arcane weapon? I think the answer is yes on both fronts. What I will say, and obviously, the T-Knife, I might be saying that wrong, but the T-Knife having the extra action is kind of a big deal. But I still think you get more out of this. I don't think it's significantly more is the problem. And that's with a Refine, you really want it to be better than that. But this is high attack, high defense unit, and we're going to stack that as much as we can. So Clouded Blade, 20% true damage off the defense. There is special DR that is dual phase, which is really nice. And foes within 3x3 centered on unit get guard, suffer a guaranteed follow-up and an Omni -5, which is good. I'm not going to say this is better than Askr because Askr's a little better. But the fact that that's a conversation we're having tells you how disappointed with Askr I am right now. But this is decent for a GHB. The thing that this unit benefits from, and let's look at it, is all of the crazy things that melee calves get right now. The budget build. And we went round and round about this. So yes, this is 3 premium skills, but they all come from Dimitri, and he's in the codes. So Haze Slice, Attack Speed Excel, and Shadow Shift 4. And I completely forgot about, till this moment, that Shadow Shift 4 takes up 4 slots, and so you'd really need 2 Dimitris. Let's ignore that for a second and just say you're getting all of that from Dimitri. The funny part of this is the lull speed res, and you're playing into that adaptive damage and trying to take someone off guard and be able to take them out. By the way, I do have to mention, I guess I can't completely ignore it. Of the 3 of those, Shadow Shift is what you're getting rid of. Like, flat out, that's the thing that you are ditching. Haze Slice and Attack Speed Excel from Dimitri already make this unit much better than he was before. Now, the max invest build. Arch Rival, Blue Skies 4, Potent Assault, Attack Speed Outcry Dull, Attack Speed Clash Seal, and Sly Echo. I sound like a broken record. It's a good build though, and it makes this unit better than he has any right to be with a Refine like that. Let's take a look at where he's at. And we just talked about Gullveig being decent because of her stats, and the same thing when we talked about Robin. This unit has better flat DR, true damage, and boosted damage than Robin. Take that in for a second because it kind of hurts my brain. Now, Robin has a lot of other things that make him better than this unit, so don't think that I'm putting Bertram over him, but understand that all of the inheritables that melee cabs get to elevate them, and that is the case here. Is this an expensive build? Absolutely yes. Holy cow. This is a significant improvement, and if Bertram is your favorite, then this is absolutely the way you have to go. It is rare that you can take a unit that gets a mediocre refine and boost him up with that much stuff. So if this unit's your favorite, I would absolutely recommend this. I think you get a huge benefit out of what the budget is, and yeah, Bertram fans, you didn't win the Refine lottery, but you did win the Inheritance lottery. You got to take your wins where you get them. What is coming up? And this is all from Albert, who does an amazing spreadsheet on this. And I don't know why I haven't linked that in the description before now. I will fix that. He has a spreadsheet that keeps track of all of this, and it is very, very difficult to do. Don't believe anyone who says different. Like, there's a lot of moving parts into making one of these, and this one is particularly confusing because we have a lot of ors. For the first lot, Tatiana or Zeke, and keep in mind, most likely whoever doesn't get here will be pushed off to the next one, and then you have Niffle and Benny. Here's where things get a little odd. So, and I've tried to arrange this, but again, this one isn't as clear-cut as a lot of the others. What is happening here is the first path in the main pool is you get a Constance Refine or you get a Moose Bell Refine, and that would be paired with Dual Leaf. The other option is you get Yuri paired with Valentine's Gustav, and that's a possibility there. The Grail unit is almost certainly Yenfei, and we should be getting a legendary Ninian Refine, and I could not be more excited. It honestly won't take a lot to make this unit good, and there are a lot of different ways they can go, so I'm crossing my fingers. Arvel, it's gonna be hard. They've got a long way to go with Arvel. Arvel needs a ton. This is the outlook that we've got for next month, though, so stay tuned, and you can always go back and see if I'm right, as PM1 is fond of saying. I have a video right here picked specifically for you by the algorithm, and I have no idea what that was, and I'm curious, so let me know what in the world they suggested to you. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all that you do. Take care, and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.